Welcome Exiles. Magma Mines Saboteur is a beast. It's a build that I've been playing since the beginning of this league, and I've thoroughly enjoyed every hour. I have around 80 hours played on it, full Atlas completion, all Voidstones and some Ubers down, and I would like to bring you a brief overview of this build in SSF, before I move on to a new build. And just to preface, this is a build by Garafa, so I highly recommend you check out his YouTube and Twitch for any questions or POBs. And that being said, I will link his POB in the description below, which is the one that I've been following as well. To structure this video, I'll go over what I like about this build, what I don't like, and the gear it requires. I'll also be playing some highlights in the background over the past 80 hours, and I hope you enjoy. If you're chasing high DPS and low effort clears, this build is for you. It's delivered me a fun, explosive and budget friendly playstyle. I love how strong it is in AoE and how you can off-screen mercs, which have been notoriously hard, and this has provided me with strong gear from mercs or even multiple divines that I'm not sure I would have been able to get with a build that would have had to face them directly. It is a crit build, which makes it fairly easy to scale as there are many ways to do so, and the playstyle is very much a one button build, click and run. You don't have to worry about positioning or detonating, you just throw out mines and keep going. This build comes online fairly quickly as well. Just after the first lab you can pick up Shrapnel Specialist, which makes it so projectiles are fired in random directions and they return to you. Basically like a budget Nimbus, but for this build in particular you actually want the random direction of projectiles because it allows for more overlaps of the skill. This build also excels defensively, being fully ailment immune, spell suppression capped, endurance charges, a bit of block, and being an evasion energy shield and life hybrid, which has been strong for some time now. It's easy for this build to become fully ailment immune because of the Saboteur ascendancy and Arctic armor. Being spell suppress capped is easy as well as you're on the right side of the tree, and this build utilizes endurance charges and flesh and stone. Early game you can get endurance charges from Enduring Cry, but later on you can anoint Disciple of the Unyielding to guarantee endurance charges on kill, as well as increasing your damage per endurance charge, and crafting plus minimum endurance charges on your rings means you will never have zero charges. There are different ways you can invest into defense though. You could also go the route of Cloak of Flames or Lightning Coil, or you could invest more into something like block. Now, about the things that I don't like, definitely mana is up there. There is a big pressure on sorting out mana early, otherwise you're going to struggle or your finger is going to get tired from pressing your mana flask so often. Not only do you need to sort it out early, but each time you change gear there is a chance it could screw up, since resolving mana is largely based upon your gear such as amulets, rings or belt. Also, once you get a 6 link and more mine throwing speed, it's going to be even harder to keep up with the mana costs. There are multiple ways of sorting out mana though, which is a good thing, but sometimes in SSF you'll only be able to do 1 or 2 of those at a time because of a lack of gear or something like not having open suffixes on a ring. I'm not sure if I enjoy fighting bosses on this build either. Some feel really great, but those are the bosses that don't move so much or don't have immune phases. It takes a little bit of time for your damage to ramp up to its full potential because of waiting for your maximum amount of mines being on the screen at once and them all going through your flame wall. So bosses that move around a lot become very frustrating as you're losing a lot of DPS if you constantly have to reposition your mines and flame wall. Same goes for immune phases, because quite often I would ramp up my DPS to the top and shortly after the boss would start an immune phase and I would have to ramp up again. Lastly, I don't like how much you have to invest into mine throwing speed for the movement to feel smooth, because part of our main links is minefield support, which means you throw additional mines, which also means you get stopped for a longer amount of time each time you throw. And yeah, you could say that that means you don't have to throw as often, but it doesn't work like that for me. This is PoE, and if my APM is not at least 300 then I'm not playing it right. I'm joking, but the point is I probably throw out mines too often when mapping and I can't help it, and stopping for that long every time I throw before investing into mine throw speed becomes frustrating. There is a way around this, and it's left clicking right after throwing, which cancels additional mines thrown but still throws out more than one at a time, which is what I ended up doing for mapping. Alright, lastly, gear. This is going to be neither a good or bad thing, as every build has lots of positives and negatives regarding gear. It just is what it is. Anyway, extremely SSF friendly, as it doesn't require any uniques and the rare gear is easily farmable / craftable. That doesn't mean that this build doesn't benefit from uniques, as there are plenty powerful options out there, most of which are common drops from specific bosses or just common drops in general. I won't name every single unique you can use, but some of the more popular ones are the new belt from the new boss Incarnation of Neglect. It's a 38% drop chance and it increases your damage and mana. Improves your skitterbots, in return it also applies their ailments to you. But since we are already ailment immune, this doesn't really matter. You just need to make sure you overcap your fire rest to combat the scorch effect and craft immunity to chill on your boots. Or you could use Winter Weave to reverse the chill effect on you and actually use it as a massive bonus for increasing your action speed and movement speed. Sandstorm Visage from the Sanctum boss Lycia. It's a guaranteed drop from a unique relic in a eye level 75 plus tome, but I'm not sure on the drop chance of the unique relic itself. Anyway, it really increases your crit, so it's a good way to become crit capped in the endgame. There's also Cloak of Flames and Lightning Coil for physical mitigation if you'd rather go that way. And some early game honourable mentions are Gloomfang and Kongming's Shield. For rare gear, it's really easy crafting your best in slot wand by recombining, locking prefixes and reforging crit. Body armour is going to be a necrotic armour with as much quality as you can get, along with spamming dense fossils and then multi-modding. Shield is a bit more tricky, but generally the same as wand with recombining, locking and reforging, but there are other ways that you can attempt to craft a good shield. Everything else is pretty simple, as you just want as much evasion, life, energy shield, spell suppression and crit as you can get, as well as trying to get things like mind throwing speed, plus to endurance charges or frenzy charges, minus cost to non-channeling skills, and plus level of fire or all spell skills. Lastly, cluster jewels. This is something that will be the decider for some people, but yes, this build does heavily rely on cluster jewels. Luckily they're not that complicated and really easy to farm. Essentially you just want a large 8 passive mod fire jewel with Cremator and Prismatic Heart, and 2 medium 4 passive mod increased trapper mine damage jewels, both with Guerrilla Tactics and Surprise Sabotage. The 2 medium jewels are really easy to roll, as you just reforge crit and you should hit both mods within a few clicks. However, the large fire jewel is a bit more annoying to roll and can take much more currency, but honestly you don't need a perfect large cluster jewel, as the majority of the damage is from those medium jewels. As for farming these cluster jewels, you are going to want to run the Infinite Delirium strategy, which you should run in a tier 1 white map, as first of all this strat can get quite rippy, but also you want a low eye level of cluster jewels so that they're easier to roll. And that was my brief overview of the Magma Mines Saboteur. At the start I mentioned I'm going to be moving on to another build, and I'm excited to say that I'm pretty sure that's going to be an Oculist, Poison Forbidden Rite of Soul Sacrifice Self-Caster, as I farmed the new uniques such as Whispers of Infinity or Coiling Whisper to enable this build. I haven't played anything even remotely close to this in a very long time, so it should be a ton of fun. And with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, stay exiled.